According to statistics, 80 to 85% of churches in North America are dying or have plateaued, and young people are leaving the church at rates as high as 88%. Why has this happened? We're at the Worldview Super Conference and taking the time to interview some of our sponsors, and one of those sponsors is Evidence America. And I have with me Wes Moore, who's out of near the Greensboro area of North Carolina. Wes, give us a little idea of what Evidence America is.
Okay, Evidence America really does two things. We train Christians to defend their faith, that's apologetics, give them answers to common faith questions. And then we train them how to take those answers into the lives of the lost around them, where they already work, live, play, and learn through evangelism training.
Okay, so what are you seeing in that? This statistic is pretty disturbing, although it's, if you go back through history, you begin to see that young people do leave the church for a while and then eventually, come back. But it'd be nice if we could capture them and keep them, without having to go through the excesses of kind of an unchristian lifestyle, like many of us, me included, went through, and it's a lot to shake after a period of time. What are you seeing in the churches? What are the churches doing wrong, do you think?
Well, I think a lot of the reason our young people leave are really intellectual. When they're children, they're raised. They have their parents' faith, and then they go to school and they learn about science and they learn about archaeology. They learn about all the things they teach other world religions, and slowly they think, what's different about Christianity? Why is it the real? Why is it the truth? Why is it the thing I should follow? And they go to church on Sunday, they never get an answer. They go to school all week and they get reasons they shouldn't believe. They go to church on Sunday, they don't get answers. So really, one of the reasons is we have not integrated these intellectual answers and a defense of our faith into the life of the church. So the child gets 14, 15, 16 and says, look, I love you, Mom and Dad, but I'm, I don't believe that stuff. That's not what the teacher says.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we trivialize Christianity at a very young age. You got the puppet ministries and you've got the flannel board stuff. I guess flannel board's not too bad if you tell the story the right way, but you attract the kids with the pizzas and the skating things and so forth. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But they really aren't getting any answers. And I've been doing this for a long time myself, and you get young kids, and you get them at the most inquisitive time of their lives. Mm-hmm. And yet the churches aren't taking advantage of that. They are asking all these questions. And they are going to go elsewhere for it. We got the internet out there now, you've got television, you've got movies. They're searching for answers, and if they're not getting them to the church, they're certainly going to go somewhere else for it.
They're hungry for them. They really are. We find they're absolutely thirsting for them. But most pastors see it as a side issue. It's just not that important. It's not that big a deal. And I think the reason for that is that most pastors are not engaging the lost. So they think the world is still built around this Christian model. Everybody believes what we believe. But if they were to get out there and really engage the lost, they find out that, gosh, the things that people think today and accept to be true about God, Jesus, and the Bible are so far from biblical faith. It's unbelievable. So I think they're disconnected. Our churches are disconnected from what's really happening, but our kids are right there in the middle of it every day, all week long.
Yeah, and one of the things I believe is that the goal of a lot of churches is to get these young people saved, and again, which is a worthy goal. But in biblical terms, that's only the first step. Right. I mean, the writer to the Hebrews in Hebrews chapter 5, he wants to talk about Melchizedek, and he can't. He says, I got to go back and teach you the elementary principles of the oracles of God. You haven't had your senses trained to discern good and evil, right, and so forth. So the church says, we got the guy, we got these kids saved. They made a profession of faith. We got them baptized. So let's move on to the next group. Right. And what happens to these kids otherwise? Right.
We have a saying in our ministry, why would you accept the Jesus of the Bible if you have rejected the Bible of Jesus? So what kind of disciple do you have if he's in his mind accepted this Jesus of pop culture, do you really have a disciple in the end anyway? No, they have to come back and be grounded in the Word of God, believe that it is what it says it is, and attempt to follow it. It's a disciple, not a decision.
Okay, so what does Evidence America do? I noticed you have some publications, which American Vision is very big in as well. Give us some idea of what you do to facilitate churches, because that's what American Vision does. We're not here to replace the church.
No,
we want to help the pastors. We want to help the churches. So how does Evidence America do that?
We're here to come alongside the churches under the authority of the pastors and help them in these two areas. So they don't have to know every answer there is. That's our job to try and do that. They don't have to learn how to train all their people in evangelism. We do that. So we do seminars at churches, like a lot of Christian ministries do. We come in and do weekend events, youth conferences all over the country. We also write books that are designed to be studied in small groups that equip people to do that. So this is an example here. Forcefully Advancing is a book that I wrote that came out earlier in the year, and it is a book to train the average Christian to engage the lost in their sphere of influence.
Okay, now one of the things is, again, we've turned to the church, and one of the things that interests me in working with an individual on this is fathers feel ill-equipped to do this material. They don't know the answers to these things. The kids go to church, they go to maybe go to Sunday school, they go to church on Sunday, they might go to a youth group. If they're going to public school, they're 6-7 hours a day, 5 days a week, 10 months out of the year. It's hard to combat all that.
Right.
Is a lot of this, can this be designed for fathers and mothers to be able to teach their own children at home with this?
Absolutely, yeah. And the books and the DVD curricula that we have are as much for the school at home, whether it's an official home school or something the parent does on the weeknights or during the weekends, as anything else. Yes, and fathers can learn these things. I don't have a PhD in apologetics. I learned it through 12 years of evangelizing and trying to train my children and teach it in the church as a pastor. And you can learn these things one layer at a time, one answer at a time. We have 7 laws of apologetics is what I've sort of come up with. And one of the laws is never say, I don't know twice. If you just follow that law, I never say, I don't know twice. If you get a question you can't answer, say, I'll go get that. Go learn it and come back with that answer. Then you've got that answer. And the next time you get another question, you go and you get it and you come back. And over time you find, and this is what I found in my evangelism and training, is that the same kinds of questions come up over and over. Right, maybe 10 or 12 core questions.
And somebody really, really sophisticated might come along and put a different slant or twist on it, but generally all the questions are the same.
They are.
And when I became a Christian in 1973, I remember the first time I tried to defend the faith, it was a little dicey, but then I went and I did some study, and pretty soon you begin to I've heard that question before. I've heard that question before.
Then you're ready. And so the first law of evangelism is oh shoot, I just had a brain meltdown. The first law of evangelism is Gary.
Hey,
help me, brother.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
You don't know because they're my laws. I should know them.
Yeah,
right?
But the whole point of this is very much like the Evangelism Explosion program.
Right.
That program was designed to give the guy in the pew the basic track on which to deal with somebody evangelistically.
Right.
And one of the things that I always remembered about that program was every time you sit down and you talk to somebody, you will find that they're going to continue to take you off here, they're going to take you off there.
Right.
It's essentially a red herring. They were going to take you down this track or down this track.
Right.
And what they always told you to do with that program is say, well, that's an interesting question, but right now let's deal with the issue of authority.
On this.
What is the authority that you're using in order to make these determinations? So if people want to get a hold of your organization, so they can learn all 7 of these.
It's evidenceamerica.org. And the first law is the other guy doesn't know as much as you think he does. Sorry, I just totally lost it. He doesn't know as much as you think he does. The average lost person is not a Sam Harris or a Richard Dawkins.
Yeah, okay.
He's not. He doesn't know
the
it.
website again.
Evidenceamerica.org.
Okay.
Evidenceamerica.org.
Thank you, Wes.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Okay.
Evidence America is a non-denominational Christian apologetics and evangelism ministry existing to restore a biblical authority in North America. For more information, visit evidenceamerica.org.